buried for thousands of years. But are the pharaoh's treasures still out there? Imagine standing under the relentless Egyptian sun. The heat waves shimmer off the desert floor, creating mirages that dance on the horizon. Beneath your feet, under tons of golden sand, lies a secret. It's a secret that has been kept for over 3,000 years. A whisper from a long-dead civilization that mastered engineering, astronomy, and the art of the afterlife. This isn't just any secret, it's a story written in gold, lapis lazuli and carnelian. It's the story of the pharaohs and their legendary treasures, fortunes so vast they defy imagination, buried deep within the earth, waiting for the one person persistent enough or perhaps just lucky enough to uncover them. The question isn't just where they are, but what would you do if you were the one to find them? The wind that blows across the Valley of the Kings carries more than just sand. It carries legends, fragments of stories passed down through millennia. These are tales of powerful rulers who commanded armies, built cities that touched the sky and believed they could take their worldly possessions with them into the next life. To ensure their eternal comfort, they filled their tombs with everything they could possibly need: golden chariots, jewel-encrusted thrones, intricate games, jars of wine, honey. These weren't just trinkets, they were provisions for a journey through eternity. But with every story of incredible wealth comes a warning. For centuries, the tales of pharaonic gold were just that, tales. Then, in November 1922, everything changed. After years of painstaking, often frustrating searching in the Valley of the Kings, British archaeologist Howard Carter and his patron, Lord Carnarvon, stumbled upon a hidden staircase. It led down to a sealed doorway bearing the Royal Necropolis seal. The air was thick with anticipation as Carter's team slowly cleared the rubble. They were about to step back in time, unlock a secret perfectly preserved for over 3,200 years. This wasn't the tomb of a mighty conqueror like Ramesses. It was the final resting place of a young, relatively minor pharaoh named Tutankhamun. When Carter first peered through a small hole in the door to the antechamber, Lord Carnarvon anxiously asked, "Can you see anything?" Carter's famous reply, "Yes, wonderful things," is one of the greatest understatements in exploration. Beyond that door was not just a tomb, but a time capsule. A chaotic jumble of golden chariots, ornate couches shaped like mythical beasts, alabaster vases, gilded chests. Everywhere he looked, something glinted. The complete, untouched burial assemblage of an Egyptian king, a sight no modern human had ever witnessed. The discovery sent shockwaves around the globe. The treasures of Tutankhamun are breathtaking in craftsmanship and volume. Over 5,000 objects were catalogued. The most famous is his solid gold death mask, inlaid with semi-precious stones, a masterpiece weighing over 22 pounds. But the wonders didn't stop there. He was buried within a series of nested coffins, the innermost made of over 240 pounds of solid gold. There were jewel-encrusted daggers. One dagger had a blade made from an iron meteorite. There were hundreds of garments, board games, musical instruments, even a lock of his grandmother's hair. This was the burial of a boy king who ruled for only a decade. This incredible find raises a monumental question. Not all lost treasures are simply about gold jewels. Some are about lost knowledge, lost history, the secrets of a ruler so controversial that his successors tried to erase him from existence. I'm talking about Akhenaten, the heretic king. He was Tutankhamun's father, and he turned Egypt on its head. He abandoned the traditional pantheon of gods, closed their temples, and decreed that his people should worship a single deity, the Aten, or the sun disk. He moved the capital from Thebes to a brand new, purpose-built city in the desert called Amarna. He was a revolutionary, a visionary, or a madman, depending on who you ask. Akhenaten's reign was a radical departure from millennia of tradition, and when he died, the old order came roaring back with a vengeance. The priests of the old gods reclaimed their power. Akhenaten's temples were dismantled, his statues were smashed, and his name was chiseled off monuments across Egypt. His city of Amarna was abandoned to the desert, and an official campaign was launched to wipe his memory from the historical record. They wanted it to be as if he and his strange new religion had never existed. This systematic erasure makes the search for his final resting place one of the most compelling mysteries in all of Egyptology. His original tomb was built at Amarna, but it was found desecrated and empty. Most scholars believe his body was moved back to the Valley of the Kings after his death, to be buried among the ancestors he had rejected. A mysterious tomb in the valley, known as KV-55, contained a cache of Amarna period artifacts and a single controversial mummy. For years, debates raged. Was this the body of Akhenaten? Recent DNA analysis suggests it is, but the burial is bizarre. The coffin was defaced, the golden mask stripped away, and any identifying inscriptions were destroyed. It was a burial meant to punish, not to honor. Let's fast forward in time to the very end of the Pharaonic Age. The story of lost treasure doesn't end with the New Kingdom. One of the most sought-after, romanticized lost sites belongs to Cleopatra VII. She was a ruler of immense intellect, political savvy, and legendary charisma. A woman who held the fate of Egypt in her hands as the Roman Empire, knocked at her door. Her life was a high-stakes drama of alliances, betrayals, love affairs with two of the most powerful men in the world, Julius Caesar, Mark Antony. Her death is just as dramatic and mysterious as her life. After their final defeat at the hands of Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus, Mark Antony Cleopatra retreated to Alexandria. Ancient accounts, particularly those by the Roman historian Plutarch, tell us what happened next. Believing Cleopatra was already dead, Antony fell on his sword. He was carried, dying, to Cleopatra's mausoleum, a grand tomb she had been building for herself, where she had barricaded herself with her most precious treasures. He died in her arms. Knowing that Octavian intended to parade her through the streets of Rome in chains, an ultimate humiliation, Cleopatra made her own final move. She died, famously, by the bite of an asp smuggled to her in a basket of figs. According to the ancient writers, Octavian was impressed by their story and, in a rare act of magnanimity, allowed them to be buried together, as they had wished. He ordered that her mausoleum be completed and that she and Antony be interred with honor and splendor. This means that somewhere, likely in or around the ancient city of Alexandria, lies the shared tomb of two of history's most famous lovers. A tomb that would have been filled with traditional Egyptian funerary goods, Hellenistic riches, Roman-style riches of Cleopatra's Ptolemaic dynasty. This is a fusion of cultures, a treasure trove of immense historical and monetary value. But where is it? For 2,000 years, the location has remained a complete mystery. The ancient city of Alexandria has been rocked by earthquakes and submerged by the rising waters of the Mediterranean. Much of the old city now lies beneath the modern one or under the sea. How do we even know where to begin looking for these lost treasures? The search isn't just about digging random holes in the desert. It's a meticulous process of detective work, piecing together clues from thousands of years ago. Our most valuable guides are the ancient Egyptians themselves. They were obsessive record keepers. They documented everything on papyrus scrolls, temple inventories, grain accounts, legal proceedings, and most importantly for us, records of the royal necropolis. These fragile documents provide an incredible window into their world, offering hints and sometimes even explicit details about tomb construction, burial rituals, and crucially, tomb robberies. One of the most fascinating sets of documents is known as the Tomb Robbery Papyri, dating from the reign of Ramesses IX. These are essentially ancient court transcripts. They detail the official investigations into a string of brazen tomb robberies that took place in the Valley of the Kings. The scrolls record the interrogation of the thieves who, often under torture, confessed to their crimes in vivid detail. They describe how they tunneled into the sacred tombs, how they ripped the gold sheeting from the walls, and how they broke open the royal sarcophagi to get at the mummified pharaohs, stripping them of their jewelry and amulets. These documents tell a story of widespread corruption that went all the way to the top. Local officials were often in on the scheme, taking a cut of the stolen loot in exchange for looking the other way. The papyri read like a modern-day crime thriller, conspiracies, betrayals, and a desperate attempt by a few honest officials to bring the criminals to justice. While they are a record of treasures lost, they also give us invaluable information. They confirm which tombs were robbed, what was taken, and sometimes even hint at tombs that were still intact at the time, providing a potential roadmap for undiscovered sites. Beyond these official records, there are the legends. These are stories that have been passed down orally for generations, tales told by local villagers whose ancestors may have been the very people who built or robbed the tombs. These stories often speak of hidden valleys, cursed tombs, and secret caches of gold guarded by desert spirits or jinn. While historians are often quick to dismiss such tales as folklore, seasoned explorers know that there is often a kernel of truth at the heart of a legend. A story about a cursed valley might be a distorted memory of a real location that was once a royal burial ground, its dangers mythologized over time. Following these whispers can sometimes lead to the most amazing discoveries. When you look at a map of the Valley of the Kings, it seems crowded. Over 60 tombs have been officially numbered, KV1, Ramesses VII, to the most recent discoveries. It gives the impression that the area has been fully explored, that every square inch has been examined. But this is a dangerous illusion. What we have found is staggering, but it's what we haven't found that truly fuels the imagination and keeps archaeologists digging. The known tombs represent only a fraction of the royal family members' high officials queens who would have been buried in this sacred necropolis over a period of 500 years. There are significant gaps in our knowledge. We have found the tombs of many great pharaohs, but most were plundered in antiquity. We have found the intact tomb of a minor pharaoh, Tutankhamun, which revolutionized our understanding of royal burials. But where are the others? The tomb of Ramesses VIII, for example, has never been definitively identified. Where is the final resting place of Amenhotep I? More tantalizingly, where are the tombs of the great queens of the 18th dynasty? Women like Nefertiti or Tiye. These were not minor figures. They were influential rulers in their own right and would have been buried with immense wealth. The search for Nefertiti's tomb is perhaps the holy grail of modern Egyptology. For a time she ruled alongside her husband Akhenaten as an equal, possibly even ruling as a pharaoh in her own right after his death. Her burial would have been magnificent. A few years ago, a theory emerged that her burial chamber might be hidden behind a false wall inside Tutankhamun's own tomb. Radar scans produced tantalizing but ultimately inconclusive results, showing what appeared to be hidden voids. While subsequent investigations have cast doubt on this specific theory, it ignited a worldwide frenzy and reminded everyone that major discoveries could be hiding in plain sight. So the map of the Valley of the Kings is full of blank spaces. It's a puzzle with most of its pieces still missing. We have the corner pieces, the big names like Ramesses the Great, but their contents are gone. We have one beautiful, complete section in the middle, Tutankhamun, that shows us what the whole picture should look like. But vast areas are still a complete void. The mummies of many pharaohs were found gathered together in two secret caches, DB 320 and KV 35, moved there by ancient priests to protect them from robbers. But their original funerary treasures were left behind or lost. The search is not just for new tombs but for the missing pieces from the ones we've already found. The image of the archaeologist has changed. The classic adventurer with a whip and a fedora has been replaced by a team of international scientists with cutting-edge tech. The modern treasure hunt is less about dynamite and digging and more about data and diagnostics. Today's explorers use tools Howard Carter could only have dreamed of, peering beneath the sand without moving a single grain. This revolution turns luck into precise science. One of the most powerful tools is ground-penetrating radar, or GPR. It sends radio waves into the ground. Waves hit a stone wall, waves hit an empty chamber. Reflections bounce back to a receiver. Scientists analyze signals to build 3D maps. They spot geological anomalies, they spot man-made structures, they spot voids that could be tombs or corridors. It gives archaeologists X-ray-like vision, letting them target digs and minimize damage. Alongside radar, satellite imagery and thermal imaging. Satellites capture detailed landscape images. Analysts spot subtle soil patterns and discolorations. Drones run thermal scans at dawn and dusk. Buried stone walls retain heat differently. Thermal shadows reveal footprints of lost buildings. Then there's DNA analysis and chemical testing. When a tomb or mummy is found, labs reveal more than ever. DNA can confirm a mummy's identity. It links them to relatives, solving royal family mysteries, as with Tutankhamun and the KV-55 mummy. Chemical residue tests reveal foods and oils placed in pots. These tools don't just find gold, they unlock stories. New tomb raiders hunt for knowledge as much as for treasure. So what if you found it? What if you were the one to stumble upon that hidden staircase, to clear the dust from a sealed door, and to gaze upon a treasure that has been waiting in the dark for 3,000 years? It's a fantasy that has driven explorers into the desert for generations, and it's a fantasy that is still very much alive today. The story of Egypt's lost treasures is not over. The final chapter has not been written. Despite all that we have found, we know with tantalizing certainty that there is more out there. The sands of Egypt have not yet given up all their secrets. The search continues to inspire a unique sense of wonder. It connects us directly to a magnificent and mysterious past. Every new discovery, no matter how small, adds another piece to the grand puzzle of ancient Egypt. It reminds us that there are still genuine frontiers of exploration left on our own planet. In an age where we have mapped the deepest oceans and sent probes to distant planets, It's thrilling to know that a discovery that could change history might be lying just a few feet beneath the ground. The quest is a testament to human curiosity and our unyielding desire to understand where we come from. The legends of lost pharaohs, hidden caches, and the elusive tomb of Cleopatra will continue to be told. They are more than just adventure stories, they are cultural touchstones that ignite our collective imagination. They challenge us to look at the world around us and wonder what mysteries lie just out of sight. Will the tomb of Nefertiti be found in our lifetime? Will a secret chamber in the Great Pyramid finally be opened? Will a fisherman one day pull a Ptolemaic statue from the sea off Alexandria, providing the clue that leads to Cleopatra's mausoleum? We don't know, and that is what makes it so exciting. The hunt goes on. With every passing year, new technologies give us new ways to look, and a new generation of explorers, armed with these tools and driven by the same old sense of adventure, heads into the field. They are following the papyrus trails, scanning the desert floor, and listening to the whispers of legend. The mystery is not solved. The treasure is not all found. Somewhere beneath the hot Egyptian sun, a pharaoh is still waiting. And the unending quest to find them is one of the greatest adventures on Earth. Keep searching. The hunt for the pharaoh's lost treasure continues to inspire wonder and mystery.